My name is Daniel Wynn, and by day I invest in sports cards, but by night I make videos about investing in sports cards. I am the great curator. Join me on my journey to break even in the hobby that we all love.
Hello everyone, I am the Great Curator and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time stopping by, thank you, I appreciate it. The purpose of me making these videos, I say this in all my intros, but basically these are for educational purposes only. I'm not selling anything, I'm not pushing any type of agenda or anything like that. My intention is, this is my creative way to just kind of express my opinions, talk about issues that I see in the hobby, and mainly just try to put out content that I think may help people. If you're new to the hobby, I think that some of these little tidbits of information that I'm putting out there, I think this will be helpful to you, okay? And that's all I want to do. I just want to help the hobby. I just want to help grow the community, grow the hobby. So that's my intention for making these videos. So if you find any value in these videos at all, please please hit the like button, please subscribe to my channel. That really encourages me and gives me the feedback that I need to continue to make these videos. It takes a lot of time, guys, to make these videos. Like one 15-minute video could take like 2 to 3 hours to make. So this is a commitment, guys. So please, if you do find value, let me know, and then that motivates me and that drives me to continue to make these videos. So I really appreciate that. Please share the video. I want to grow this as much as I can, because that will really show me that people are finding value in this, and that makes me feel good. Okay, so with that, today's topic is going to be really interesting. It's a video I've been wanting to make for a while. This is kind of a continuation of the series of videos that I've been putting out there, what I call sports card investing 101, and now this series of sports card investing 201. Okay, and today's topic is going to be what I like to call the art of the deal, right? How do you make deals with people for cards? Okay, because that is what a big part of this hobby is, right? A lot of people, they start off, they'll buy a card on eBay, they'll win an auction, and that's how they grow their collection. But once you start to get into this, you jump off of eBay and you go to doing deals with people, either in person, either on shows, or either online, but you do deals with people, right? So a lot of questions that I'm always getting on Instagram or in person are, how do you negotiate? How do you make deals? How do you structure deals? How do you value cards? Things like that. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Today's topic is the art of the deal. I'm going to tell you guys how to find deals. I'm going to tell you guys how to structure deals, how to negotiate, and how to get those cards that you want. All right. So with that, let me just jump straight into this, okay, and kind of tell you guys why do you want to jump off eBay? Why do you want to find deals? Okay, so you can buy, when you're buying things on eBay, you're bidding, you're competing in the auction, but essentially it's just like buying something from Amazon. Basically, you see a card on there, you pay the price, whatever the price is at that time, and you get the card, and that's fine. All right, but it's not fun. All right, and unless that card is very rare to eBay, or you're getting the best deal ever, you're probably gonna at some point want to transact off of eBay. All right, maybe you don't want to pay the taxes, maybe you don't want to pay shipping, you want to find better prices, you want to find different types of cards, whatever. You're gonna take your business off of eBay and you're gonna go out into the marketplace. Okay, and you can do that in several different ways. You can go to shows to meet people. All right, in person to person transacting. You can find people on Facebook groups, on sale websites like OfferUp, Whatnot, all those things, on Instagram, right? But basically you connect with somebody who has a card that you want, and then you're gonna have to try to do some type of deal or transaction with that person, all right, to do it. On eBay, you eliminate that person-to-person interaction, because the card is up there for sale and you buy it right away. But when you do transactions with people, either online or in person, and it's a one-on-one a negotiation, a one-on-one deal, then you're not guaranteed to get that card. All right, you're gonna have to make a deal with them, and to make that deal, you're gonna have to structure it in one of 3 ways. All right, so let's talk about how we can do that. Okay, there are 3 ways that you can make a deal with somebody. Okay, and for the purposes of this video, let's just assume that you're doing the deal in person. All right, at a card show. There are 3 ways, okay, that you can structure the deal. Number 1 is you can just do a straight cash deal where you buy the card. They have the card listed at a price similar, and you just buy it from them. You will negotiate, of course. This is not just like eBay, because otherwise you just do it just like on eBay, but or anywhere else. But you would negotiate the price with them. So if they have the price at, let's just say $500 for whatever kind of card it is, and you really want that card, you will negotiate the price with them, okay? And then you'll pay cash, credit card, whatever, all right, and you get the card that way. So that is the first way you can acquire a card, is just by paying straight cash, okay? The second way is what happens a lot at these shows is you make a trade, all right? You give them a card of equal or more value for the card that you want, a straight trade, okay? And there's different ways that you can structure that trade, which I will kind of go about. And then the third way to acquire a card is what I like to do, is the cash trade deal, where you offer them some trade value and then you offer them some cash on top of that, all right? So those are the three ways that you can structure a deal. Cash trade, cash trade, all right? So let's get into the cash transaction side of it, okay? So when you're doing a deal with a person, you see a card at a show that you want, let's just say it's a rare card, okay? You're gonna have to determine if the price that they have on that card is fair, in line with fair market value, or if it's just way over the top, because you don't want to overpay for a card, right? And I go into this topic in one of my previous videos about how to value a card, but very simple. The way that most people do it is they'll look to see on eBay if they can get that same card at buy it now for a cheaper price than what it's listed at the show, okay? Let's just say that the price is the same. Then they'll look to see what that card has sold for previously on eBay, okay? I've talked about this before about how to use eBay comps properly, but just for the sake of this video, let's just say they look it up. And if there's a value that's kind of in line with what the seller has the price listed at, then they know that it's within the fair market value, okay, for that card price. And then that's when you guys negotiate. And usually people will try to like offer a little bit less than what they could buy the card for on eBay or what the card last sold for. Sometimes they have to pay more if the card is valuable. So that is just something that you guys will have to determine. But that is just straight negotiation. If the card is for $500, maybe you offer the seller $450, maybe they take it, maybe they don't, but you have a discussion with them and you go back and forth and you negotiate and you come to an agreed upon price, all right? A couple things with this, all right? Number one is, if you can get the card cheaper, either online or on another dealer's table, okay, then, go do that, all right? Either tell the seller that you can get it cheaper somewhere else and see if they'll match the price or beat it, or go somewhere else, all right? But if the card is rare and nobody else has it and there's nowhere else you can get it, you may have to pay more than what you think the value of the card is. If you think the fair market value of the card is $500, but it's rare and you can't get it anywhere else, and you really want it, don't try to pay $450 if the seller's not gonna accept that. And if you need to walk away, walk away. But if you really value the card, okay, and you're trying to acquire it, you may have to pay up for it if that dealer is the only person that has that card. All right. So understand that when you're doing transactions, it's all about negotiating the price. If you're trying to flip the card, you probably want to get it at a lower price than what anybody else can get it for, so that you can have a little bit more margin in there, okay? If you really want the card because you believe in it and it's rare, you may have to pay more than what you think the value is, okay? But it's a negotiation. Everything is up to negotiations, okay? And understand that if you're paying cash holds a premium in the secondary market. Most people will try to trade things, okay? But if you're willing to give cash, then that is a tool in itself to get you a better deal. If you come in a deal with all cash, then make sure you emphasize that to the seller so that you can try to maybe get a better deal based off of the fact that you're paying all cash, okay? Versus a credit card, versus trading cards or anything like that, okay? So that is the first way that you can structure a deal, is just coming in there all cash. Realize that if you come in all cash, that is a benefit to the seller, so that should get you some type of credit on that, okay? So that is the first way, coming in all cash. The second way that you can structure a deal is by doing a trade, all right? And this is how most transactions occur at card shows, where people just try to do trades, okay? Maybe you don't have cash. Maybe you spent all your cash and you have this collection of cards, but you just want to transact and get different cards, but you don't have any more money to spend. All right. Maybe you're just scared that the market will go down a little bit more. You don't want to continue pumping in cash to your collection, but you've got a bunch of cards, and these cards have some type of perceived determined value. So you want to use those cards to trade for a different type of card. Okay. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. Number one is you can do a 1-for-1 trade. Maybe the card that you want is $500. You have another card that you think is worth $500, and you do a 1-for-1 trade if the seller wants that. Okay, so that's one way that you could do it. You'll have to negotiate on the agreed upon value of those cards to make sure that you guys are getting a fair deal. But if both cards are worth $500 and you just want to do straight trade and it benefits both sides, that's one way you can do it. The second way that you can do a trade deal is you can trade up or down. Okay, so let's cover trading up, for example. Trading up is when you have a number of cards. Let's just say you have 5 cards, okay, and each of these cards is worth $100 each, and you want to trade for one card that is worth $500. So you're trading your 5 cards to the seller for his one card and back. That's called trading up. Trading up for the person trying to acquire that one card. The benefit of doing that is basically, you're taking the value of these cards. Maybe these cards have appreciated in value. They're worth $500, but maybe you only paid $200 for these cards and they have appreciated in value. So you're going to be able to capture that equity in those cards to trade up to a better card. Okay, maybe you don't want to have 5 cards and you want to consolidate your collection to one card. So that is another benefit or reason why people do that. Okay, understand that is a great way to do it, but you have to understand the seller's point of view also. Sometimes they don't like to get 5 cards in return for one because it's more work for them to sell those 5 cards. However, some sellers do want to trade down because they think that those 5 cards may be more liquid than selling. It may be easier to sell each of these 5 cards for $100 each than one card for $500, depending on the market, okay, and how much money people are spending. So that is called trading up. The opposite of that is trading down. So it's just the same thing. Maybe you have one card that you just don't want to hold anymore and it's worth $500 and you just want to get rid of it because you want to try to get your money out somehow, but nobody's willing to pay you $500 for that one card. Maybe you get 5 cards that are worth $100 each and it will be easier for you to move. All right, so that is called trading down. All right, understand that if you're trading up, sometimes you do have to give a little bit more trade value versus if you were paying all cash. So don't expect to just do a 1-for-1 trade where it's like $500 in value versus another for a $500 card. Sometimes you might have to give like $550 in trade value to get that $500 card to compensate the seller for doing the extra work. Okay, not all the time, but that's most of the time they will ask for that. All right, and again, this is all dependent on whether the seller and the buyer can agree upon the value of each of these cards. Okay, so that is part of the negotiation process also. If you're trading down, you can also ask for more value in return. Okay, so it goes both ways. All right, so that is how a trade is covered. Okay, the third option that you have is the cash trade deal, and this is where it gets really exciting, guys. Okay, so instead of doing a all cash transaction, instead of doing a 1-for-1 trade or trading up or trading down, you do a combination of both. All right, and this is where it gets really creative. So you have to kind of think a lot and think about how you can structure this deal. So going back to our previous example of how we're trying to get that one $500 card, maybe we don't have cards that equal $500 or $550 in trade value. Maybe we don't have $500 in cash. Okay, so how do we get the card? Think. Okay, look at your resources and think of what kind of deal that you can structure that can get you that one $500 card. Maybe you have $200, okay? You have $200 cash and you have 2 cards that are worth $250 each, okay? Or let me see, my math is not adding. Maybe you have 2 cards that are worth $350, okay? You can structure the deal where you give them $200 cash, you give them 2 cards that are worth $350. The seller will get perceived $550 value, then you can get the card that you want. Okay, so that's how you can do it, and you can do that in any number of ways. You can do like $100 and $450 in trade value. Okay, maybe you have $400 and you give them one card that's worth $150. Okay, You can structure it in any different way, but just understand those basic principles. And if you're creative enough and you have this conversation with the seller and the rapport is good and you guys are respectful and polite and nice to each other, you can probably work out a deal somehow, all right? Most important things though are you have to understand that you have to come to an agreement on the value, all right, that you're trading up or down. You have to understand that cash does carry a premium, so there should be credit given for that. You have to understand the cost basis for each side to make sense if you're making that deal. If you're trying to trade a card that you're getting $550 in value for, but you're $700 into the card, maybe it doesn't make sense. So the cost basis on the card does matter, okay? And most important, you just have to have a good conversation with the seller, the dealer, so that you guys can try to work out an agreement that is fair for both sides. When you're doing these type of transactions, you want to make sure that both sides win. You don't want to try to take advantage of the other person. You don't want to, squeeze them or bully them into coming to a deal, because nobody wins that way. If you do these type of deals with somebody, then you can build a relationship with them and you can do more deals in the future, okay? One other thing I want to kind of point out here is a lot of people will hear this when they're getting into the hobby, okay? When you go to a card show and you're on the side of the table where you're trying to buy something from somebody, okay, and the seller is on the other side, you're going to hear them when they negotiate, they'll try to get the best deal they can from you, and they'll say, well, common thing that they'll always say is, well, I got to make money, so I got to get this card at lower than the value. I got to pay 70% of eBay comps, okay? I got to have some room for me to make money. And that is true, and that's a fair point. But understand, guys, that the dealer on the other side of the table, unless they own a card shop, unless they run an LLC business and they do this full time, that person on the other side of the table is no different than you. They just happen to pay $50 to set up a table at a card show, but they're no different than you. So you should not automatically roll over and say, okay, well, I'll give you 70% of value on this, okay? Because they have to make money. Both sides have to make money. Both sides have to do a deal, okay? There's no difference between one or the other unless really they own a card shop or they run this as an LLC business and they report taxes and all that stuff. Other than that, they're no different than you guys. So don't fall for that trick, okay? Push back on that. If they say they need to make money, well, you need to make money too, okay? And if the deal doesn't make sense for both sides, then you don't have to do it, all right? Don't feel obligated to give the other side of the table extra value or extra money or whatever it is just because they say they need to make money. I hear that excuse all the time and it just makes me roll my eyes, okay? Everybody in this hobby is pretty much equal unless you fall into that category where you own a shop, you have a certain profit margin that you have to make, a bottom line that you have to make because you have overhead expenses, or you run this as a legitimate LLC and you have to pay taxes and things like that. Otherwise, both sides of the table, they're on the same playing field, okay? So just be aware of that, guys. So again, just to recap on the 3 ways that you can make the deal. You can buy a card all cash, okay? But just understand that you do get a premium for paying all cash, so you should be able to get a better deal. You can do a straight trade. If you're trading up, you have to give more value, okay? If you're trading down, you can ask for more value, all right? Or you can just do a 1-for-1 trade if they agree to that. And then 3, you can do the cash trade deal where you offer a portion cash and you make up the rest in trade. If you're offering majority trade, then you should be giving up a little bit more trade value to get the card that you want. If you're giving up majority cash to get the card, then you can give a little bit less trade value, okay? Maybe, all right? So that is basically it, guys. That is the art of the deal, the very basics. You can get really deep into this topic, and I would love to have discussions with you guys about this. If you have any questions about this, or you want to run any deals by me, or you want to do any trades, hit me up on Instagram at The Great Curator. I love chatting with people. If you found any value in this at all, please leave comments, please like, please subscribe, please share this video with your friends. I'm trying to grow this channel as much as I can. So I love that type of encouragement. If you guys have deals that you're working on and you just want to get my opinion about it, let's talk about it, no problem. But I think that hopefully you guys understand the basics of how people do a lot of transacting at card shows or in person in general, and how you guys can structure deals now, okay? So hopefully you guys found value in this, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.